Hi students, today we are starting our new chapter, that is chapter number 15, Plant Growth and Development. An irreversible increase in the size of the plant is known as growth. As plants, like other organisms, are made up of cells, growth involves an increase in cell numbers by cell division and increase in cell size. Cell division itself is not growth, as each new cell is exactly half the size of the cell from which it was formed. Only when it grows to same size as its progenitor has a growth been realized. Now, cell biology. While growth in plants consists of an increase in both cell number and cell size, animal growth is almost wholly the result of increase in cell numbers. Another important difference in growth between plants and animals is that animals are determined in growth and reach a final size before they are mature and start to reproduce. Plants have indeterminate growth and as long as they live, continue to add new organs and tissues. In a plant, new cells are produced all the times and some parts such as leaves and flowers may die while the main body of the plant persists and continue to grow. The basic process of cell division are similar in plants and animals, though the presence of cell wall and vacuole in plant cell means that there are certain important differences. This is particularly true in plant cell enlargement, as plant cells being restrained in the size by cellulose cell wall cannot grow without an increase in the wall. Now, sites of cell division. Cell division in plant take place in discrete zone called meristem. The stem and root apical meristem produce all the primary tissues of the stem and the root. The cylindrical vascular cambium produces more conducting cells at the time when secondary thickening on a woody nature part begins. The vascular cambium is a sheet of elongated cell which divide to produce xylem or water conducting cell on the sides and phloem or sugar conducting cells on the outside. Unlike the apical meristem, whose cell division eventually leads to the increase in length of the stem and root, divisions of vascular cambium occur when that part of the plant has reached a fixed length and led only to an increase in the girth, not in the length. Girth means in round, growth in round. The final meristematic zone, the cork cambium, is another cylindrical sheet of the cell on the outer edge of the older stem and roots of the woody plants. It produces new outer cells only, and these cells differentiate into the corky layers of the bark so that new protective layers are produced as the increases in the circumferences. Now, control. Plant growth is affected by internal and external factors. The internal controls are the product of the genetic instructions carried in the plant. These induce the extent and timing of the growth and are mediated by signals of various types of transmitted within the cell, between cell, or all around the plant. Intracellular communication in plant may take via hormones or by other forms of communication not well understood. There are several hormones, each of which may be produced in a different location, that have a different target tissue and act in a different manner. Now, plant hormone. The external environments of the root and shoot place constraints on the extent to which the internal control can permit the plant to grow and develop. Prime among these are the water and nutrient supplies available in the soil. Because cell expansion is controlled by cell turgor, which expands the water, any deficit in the water supply of the plant reduces the cell turgor and limits cell elongation, resulting in a smaller plant. Mineral nutrients are needed for the biochemical process of the plant. When these are in insufficient supply, growth will be less vigorous, or in the extreme cases, it will be cease and optimal temperature is needed for plant growth. The actual temperature range depends on the species. In general, metabolic reactions and growth increases with temperature, though high temperature becomes damaging. Most plants grow slowly at low temperature, that is 32 to 50 degree Fahrenheit, and some tropical plants are damaged or even killed at low but above freezing temperatures. Light is important in the control of the plant growth. It drives the process of the photosynthesis, which produces the carbohydrates that are needed osmotically retain water in the cell for the growth. Now, fruits and seeds. Fruits and seeds are rich sources of hormones. Initial hormone produces start upon pollination. It is further promoted by ovule fertilization. These hormones promote the growth of both seed and fruit tissue. Fruit grow initially by cell division, then by cell enlargement, and finally sometimes by an increase in air spaces. The growth of the seed starts at fertilization. A small undifferentiated cell mass is produced from a single cell zygote. This proceeds to form a small embryo, consists of a stem tip bearing two or more leaf primordia at one end and a root primordium at the other. Either the endosperm or cotyledon enlarge as a food store. Now flowering. At a certain time, a certain plant ceases producing leaves and instead producing flowers. This often occurs at a particular season of the year. The determining factor for this event is day length or photoperiodism. Different species of plant respond to different photoperiods. Now, flower photoperiodism. The light signal for flowering is received by the leaves, but it is the stem apex that respond. Exposing even a small single leaf to the correct photoperiod can induce flowering. Clearly, then a single signal must travel from the leaf to the apex. It has been proposed that is the flower producing hormone travel from leaf to the stem and then it induces changes. Now, dormancy. At certain stages of life cycle, most perennial plants cease growth and become dormant. Plant may cease growth at any time if the environmental conditions are unfavorable. When dormant, however, a plant will not grow even if the conditions are favorable. Now, leaf abscission. As a perennial plant growth, new leaves are continuously or seasonally produced. At the same time, the older leaves are shed because newer leaves are metabolically more efficient in the production of photosynthesis. A total shedding of tender leaves may enable the plant to withstand a cold period or a drought. In temperate deciduous trees, leaf abscission is brought about by declining photoperiods and temperature. Now, characteristic of plant growth. Growth is a manifestation of life. All organisms, the simplest as well as the more intricate, are slowly changing the whole time as they are alive. They transform material into more of themselves from such ingredient as mineral, protein, carbohydrate, fat, vitamin, hormone, etc. Organism form additional protoplasm. The formation of protoplasm is called assimilation. Now, phases of growth in plants. There are three phases: meristematic, elongation and maturation. We can understand this better by looking at a seed. We already know that the tips of the root and shoot exhibit continuous growth and hence are meristematic. The cells in this region are rich in protoplasm and have large nuclei. The cell next to this region represent the elongation growth phase. In this region, there is a formation of new cell walls, vacuoles, etc. The region next to the elongation phase represent the maturation phase in which the cells attain their maximal size. Now, growth rate. The number of cells in organism increase in a number of ways. The increased growth per unit time is termed as a growth rate. This can be expressed mathematically. There are two types of growth rate, arithmetic and geometric. In arithmetic growth, out of two daughter cells produced by mitotic division of a cell, only one daughter cell continues to divide while the other differentiates and matures. The following curve represents the arithmetic growth phase. The case of the geometric growth phase, The initial growth is slow and increases rapidly thereafter at an exponential rate. In this, both the daughter cells retain their ability to divide. The following curve represent the geometric phase. Now, condition of growth. Some of the elements essential for the growth of the plant are oxygen, water, nutrients. Water enters the cell and causes turgidity. Turgidity means hardness. This results in enlargement of the cell. Water also provides a medium for activities of enzyme. The metabolic energy required for various activities is obtained from oxygen and sometimes nutrient also. Optimum temperature, light and gravity are also required for the proper growth and development of the plant. Now, growth rate in plants, differentiation. The cells derived from root apical meristem, that is RAM, and shoot apical meristem, that is SAM, and cambium differentiate, mature to perform a specific function. This act leading to the maturation is termed as differentiation. They undergo a few or major structural changes both in their cell wall and protoplasm. For example, to form tertiary elements, the cells lose its protoplasm but develops a very strong elastic lignocellulosic secondary cell wall is best suited to carry water to long distances even under extreme tension. Now, differentiation. In this process, cell derived from root apical and shoot apical meristem and cambium differentiate and mature to perform a specific function. Now, re-differentiation. Process in which differentiated cells that have lost their ability to divide are reformed from de-differentiated cells and have the ability to perform a specific function. We all know that plant need light, water, oxygen, nutrient to grow and develop. All these qualify as extrinsic factor. While extrinsic factors are important, they can be intracellular genes or intercellular chemicals also. These chemicals are called plant growth regulators. Now, characteristic of plant growth regulators. Plant growth regulators can be of a diverse chemical composition such as gases, terpenes or carotenoids. They are also referred as plant growth substances, phytohormones or plant hormones. Based on their action, they are broadly classified as plant growth promoters. They promote the cell division. Example, auxin, gibberellin and cytokinin. Plant growth inhibitor. These chemicals inhibit growth and promote dormancy and abscission in the plant. Example, abscisic acid. Ethylene is a promoter or an inhibitor but is largely a plant growth inhibitor. We are starting with auxins. Auxins were first growth hormone to be discovered. They were discovered due to the observation of Charles Darwin and his son Francis Darwin. The Darwin observed that is the coleoptile in canary grass grows bends towards the source of light. This phenomenon is photoperiodism. In addition, their experiment showed that is the coleoptile tip was site responsible for the bending. Finally, this led to the isolation of the first auxin by F.W. Wendt from the coleoptile tip to oat seedling. Coleoptile means that is the part which is growing and which goes inside the soil, coleoptile. First isolated from human urine, and auxin is a term applied to natural and synthetic compounds that have growth regulating properties. Plant produces natural auxins such as indole 3-acetic acid and indole butyric acid. Natural auxins are found in growing stems and roots from where they migrate to their site of action. Naphthalene acetic acid NAA and 2,4-dichlorophenoxy acetic acid 2,4-D are examples of synthetic auxins. Effect: they promote flowering, help to initiate rooting, prevent drooping of fruits means falling of fruits, promote natural detachment, control xylem differentiation and help in cell division. Application: used for plant propagation to induce parthenocarpy, that is the production of fruit without fertilization. 2,4-D is widely used as herbicide to kill dicotyledon seeds. Used by gardens to keep lawns weed free. The growing apical bud in higher plants inhibits the growth of the lateral bud. The phenomenon is apical dormance. Removal of the apical bud allows the lateral buds to grow. This technique is commonly used in tea plantation and hedge making. Now gibberellins. It is the component responsible for the Buchanan disease of the rice seedling. This disease is caused by the fungal pathogen, that is the Gibberella fujikuroi. Now, their types. There exist more than 100 gibberellins obtained from a variety of organisms from fungi to higher plants. They all are acetic acid and are denoted as GA1, GA2, GA3, etc. GA3 is the most noteworthy since it was the first to be discovered and is the most studied. Now effect increases the axis length in plants such as grape stalk, delay senescence, that is aging, and help fruit like apples to elongate it and improve their shape. Application. The brewing industry uses GA3 to speed the malting process. Spring gibberellins increases sugarcane yield by lengthening the stem. Use of hasten the maturity period in young conifers and promote early seed production. They help to promote bolting, that is sudden growth of the plant. Now we are starting with cytokinin. F. Skuse and his co-workers observed a mass of cell called the callus in the tobacco plant. These cells proliferated only when the nutrient medium contained auxin along with the yeast extract or extract of the vascular tissue. Skuse and Miller later identified the active substances responsible for the proliferation and called it chitin. Now types. Cytokinin were discovered as chitin. Chitin does not occur naturally, but scientists later discovered several natural example, that is zetane and synthetic cytokinin. Natural cytokinin exists in root apices and developing shoot buds, areas where rapid cell division takes place. Now effect. Help in formation of new leaves and chloroplast, promote lateral shoot growth and adventitious shoot formation, help overcome apical dominance, promote nutrient metabolism or mobilization, which in turn helps delay leaf senescence. Now abscisic acid. 3 independent researchers report the purification and characterization of 3 different inhibitors, that is inhibitor B, abscission, double and dormin. Later it was found that all 3 inhibitors were chemically identical and were therefore together were given the name abscisic acid. Abscisic acid mostly act as an antagonistic to gibberellic acid. Effect. They regulate abscission and dormancy, inhibit plant growth, stimulates closure of stomata, increases the tolerance of the plant to different kind of stress. Important for seed development and maturation. It induces dormancy in seed and help them withstand desiccation and other unfavorable growth factors. Now ethylene. A group of cuisine showed that the gaseous substances released from ripe oranges hasten the ripening of unripe oranges. Consequently, they found that the substances was ethylene, a simple gaseous plant growth regulator. Ripening fruits and tissues undergoing senescence produces ethylene in large amounts. Effect. It affects horizontal growth of seedling, promote abscission, enhance respiration, increases root growth. Application. Ethylene regulates many physiological processes and is therefore widely used in agriculture. The most common used source of ethylene is ethiphone. Plant can easily absorb and transport an aqueous solution of ethiphone and release ethylene slowly. Used to break seed and bud dormancy and initiate germination in peanut seed. To promote sprouting of potato tubers. Used to boost rapid petiole elongation in deep water rice plant. To initiate flowering and synchronization of fruit set in the pineapples. To induce flowering in mango. Ethiphone hastens fruit ripening in apples and tomatoes and increase yield by promoting female flowering in cucumbers. It also accelerates abscission in cherry, walnut and cotton. Now photoperiodism. As we all know that plant growth regulators are simple organic molecules play a vital role in the growth and development of the plant. Apart from these plant hormones or phytohormones, plant growth is also influenced by certain external factors like temperature, length of the day, light and dark exposure, etc. Plants are of three types. Long day plant. Plant which require longer exposure to light than their critical period. Example, oats and wheat. Short day plant, those plants which require a shorter period than critical period, that example chrysanthemum and tobacco. Day neutral plant, these plant in which flowering is unaffected by the photoperiod, that is maize and sunflower. Now vernalization. This term is used to describe the dependence of certain plant on exposure to low temperature for flowering. Qualitative or quantitative. It inhibits the development of reproductive organs in growing seasons and permits the plant to have adequate time to reach its maturity. Vernalization is the phenomenon practiced for the production of earlier crops. They are mainly cultivated in the plants where they naturally do not grow. Vernalization helps in accelerating the plant breeding. For example, the wheat plant which has two varieties, winter and spring. Beet, cabbage, turnip, onions are examples of vernalization. The winter variety is planted in autumn. They get time to germinate and come out as small seedling in winter, continue to grow in spring and are harvested in midsummer. Dormancy of seed. We often notice that the seeds of some plant species do not germinate even after providing favorable condition. This state of the seed is known as dormancy. The seed for this condition is that they need a period of rest or storage before becoming capable of germination. This period may vary from few days to years. Photoperiodism refers to flowering response of the plant to the length of the dark and light periods. This helps in flower to bloom in different season. This is all about this chapter. I am sending you its PDF. Thank you.